go. Couple of minutes late. Okay, good evening, folks. This is our weekly scheduled meeting. This is the February 24th meeting. We're a few minutes late, so glad that you stayed with us. The first order of business for this evening will be, if I may, have a motion for the acceptance of the minutes of the last meeting.
Move to accept as printed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Okay, so the next order of business is, let's see, we don't have the chief in yet for the appointment, so let's have the Read Across America with our friends from RAVE. I don't know, Pat, if you want to get up and speak to this?
Sure.
Or one of your team, however you want to approach it.
That's okay. I'm here with Kathleen Roberts and Kim Dolan and
Yep.
Sandy Leahy, all members of our RAVE Board of Directors. And Kim, of course, is our volunteer coordinator. And we're here for two reasons.
Okay.
One is because next week is one of our favorite weeks of the year, our Read Across America Week. I think, what number is this, Kathleen? It started in 1998, I believe. So we're getting along there in years. So we've been doing this for quite a while now, but as you know, it's a nationwide event, and we were so fortunate because the very first year we were able to get involved with it, thanks to Kathleen, who was a member of the the NEA, National Education Association, retired member, and she was the Massachusetts chairman that very first year, and came to us at RAVE and said, can we do something here in Raynham? So, of course, we wanted to jump right on board, so every year we've been doing it, and all of you participate as well, because we try to bring in our local celebrity guests to come and visit our classrooms and read Dr. Seuss stories and explain to the children how important reading is to them. So we're going to be doing it again next week. We're actually going to be kicking it off. This is a late development, Kim. We're going to be kicking it off on Monday at the Merrill School with a special guest appearance with our very own Kathleen Roberts and president of the MTA, who will be coming. And I believe we'll be reading in Mrs. Holt's classroom. Mrs. Holt, Donna Holt, is the president of the BREA, so it will be a special celebration there, and that will kind of kick off the week. Merrill School children are going to be all dressed in black and white and red for the occasion and wearing Dr. Seuss hats, and they're going to be a stop, drop, and read, grab a Dr. Seuss book at some time during the day and be celebrating that. So it'll be a great event, and then we continue the rest of the week, and I'll let Kim give you the schedule for that. And if you haven't all been signed up yet, believe me, you will be.
Yes, we'll be at the Merrill School again on Tuesday, March 3rd at 10:15 and 2 o'clock. Then we'll go to RMS on Wednesday, and that schedule has been a moving target. We are still making phone calls because they have a rolling 5-day schedule, and with all the cancellations, we keep changing the schedule. So if you have not been called yet, we are still making calls, and you will be called. And then we'll be at La Liberty on Thursday, March 5th at 9:30 in the morning and 1:30 in the afternoon.
And we want to thank the Raynham Library that helps us get all of the Dr. Seuss books that we always share with our readers, and all of the special guests. We have many retired teachers because it was originally an initiative by the Teachers National Education Association, and our local celebrities, including all of you. So we'll have a great time. Dr. Seuss celebration with a birthday cake and cupcakes for all the children, and get them excited about reading, because obviously, as you know, and Kathleen has told us, reading is the key to a lifelong experience of education, and so we try to share that with the children and have a great time doing it. So it's one of those memorable moments that the kids will always remember. So
I can tell you from my own experience in academia, the people that I met that were the brightest are the ones that read the most.
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell you that categorically. So you have no better testimony to it than my years at university.
excellent.
The ones that were avid readers were, and that's not just books, it's magazines, it's newspapers, whatever. That's where you really learn. That's the essence of real hard learning. So it is the key. I know that from my own experience. So we certainly support and applaud it.
Thank you, and we're hoping you'll be at the Raynham Middle School, because you did a great job
Right.
there last year. As Kim said, every time there's a snow day, their schedule changes, so we're hoping there won't be any more between now and Monday. Kathleen, do you want to say a few words? about Read Across America?
Not necessarily, but I think I enjoy it as much as Pat does and all the children, because I'm still a child at heart, and I'm the oldest cat in the hat, as you see around. And one day I had a cute experience. A little kindergarten youngster kept his eye on me all the time. And I said, I wonder what he's thinking. When we got through, he said, you know, you're a girl cat, and I thought the cat in the hat was a boy cat. So they're very observing.
That's so funny. That's funny. So,
Do we want to do our traditional cat in the hat photo, Dr. Seuss photo with all of you? Are you game again this year?
I know Randy
We have
is.
hats. We have hats.
We could have Randy stand in for us if you like as the, I'm sorry,
Even
Randy.
he can't make it look good with those hats.
I know, that's true.
Here we are. Kim?
We read this resolution. Oh, thanks. My size 6. Oh, geez, that,
Stand up, stand tall.
You gotta stuff it with some paper.
Yeah, stuff it.
Everybody will have it.
Oh, no, it's stood. Good, leave it alone.
oh, yeah.
All stuffed up. Oh, look,
I think it goes with the turtleneck, personally.
it's all over my flopping. You're flopping. I'm flopping.
Don't move your head too fast. Yeah, I don't know. Come on over here, Randy, if you can get in with the seat. Hope the chief has got a wide angle lens.
All for good cause, right? Thank you very much. And while we're here, oh, I think you have a proclamation.
Yes, resolution, yeah. I do. So we do have a resolution, Read Across America, whereas the citizens of Raynham stand firmly committed to promoting reading as a catalyst for our students' future academic success, their preparation for America's jobs of the future, and their ability to compete in a global economy. And whereas we know that most children who leave elementary school as poor readers rarely catch up, and we know that when children read outside of school, they do better in school. And whereas Read Across America is sponsored nationally by the National Education Association and others, and locally for the 14th year by the Raynham Association of Volunteers for Education, RAVE, in partnership with the Bridgewater-Raynham Regional School District, the Early Childhood Parents Organization, ECPO, at Merrill School, the La Liberty Parents Organization, the Raynham Middle School Parents Organization, and the Raynham Public Library. And whereas Read Across America celebrates the anniversary of the birthday of famous children's author Theodore Seuss Geisel on March 2nd and promotes reading and adult involvement in the education of our community's students. Therefore, be it resolved that the Raynham Board of Selectmen proclaim the week of March 1st through March 7th, 2015 as Read Across America Week in the town of Raynham, and calls on the citizens of the town to support the activities of the Read Across America effort. Be it further resolved that the Raynham Board of Selectmen enthusiastically endorse Read Across America and recommits our community to engage in programs and activities to make our children the best readers in the world. And I will entertain them. All in favor? Aye. So done, and so congratulations and all the work you do. It's a very important part of the community, without a doubt.
Thank you
So
very much.
thank you for that, and for the people that you that are that you're speaking for. We appreciate that as well.
Thank you, Mr. Shavo. And since we're here, we'd like to be economical with your time as well, if we could bring up one other matter for with Sandy Leahy, who is our chairman of our Salute to Veterans Committee. But on behalf of our Salute to Veterans Committee, we'd like to request a parade permit for the 3rd annual townwide. I know it's hard to think of Memorial Day with snow all over the ground, but hopefully it will have melted by then. Our 3rd annual townwide Memorial Day parade that we're planning for Memorial Day weekend this year. The date that's been selected is again on the Saturday of Memorial Day weekend, which will be May 23rd, 2015. As you're aware, this is one of our favorite efforts as well, and we are so thrilled to be planning once again our 3rd annual this time. And we'd particularly like to acknowledge the efforts of the Highway Department that digs the holes for all of those flagpoles that we put up to decorate the center of town and Town Hall, our local businessman Dan Andrade, who creates the sturdy bases, and our fire department under the direction of Chief Jim Janis for putting the flags up and taking them down for our patriotic holidays. Also acknowledge our Raynham Police Department under the direction of Chief Jim Donovan, as well as our fire department for assistance with the parade, and of course all of our veterans for their assistance and support. At this point, our plans call for the parade to form once again in the parking lots of the La Liberty and Merrill and along Darrington Drive and follow the same route with a starting time of 10 o'clock sharp. We're going back to the original 10 o'clock time. The route will proceed along the same route, and we hope that it's going to be even bigger and better than ever, and just want to get everybody involved. We'll continue to work closely with our police and fire departments as our planning continues. Fire Chief Janis and Police Chief Donovan, along with our retired Police Chief Peter King, are important members of our Salute to Veterans Committee. And I think Chief King is volunteering to be our parade coordinator once again this year. Correct, Chief? Absolutely.
I just heard you volunteer, Peter.
You were volunteered.
We like to recruit great people to help us out. So, Sandy, if you want to say a couple words here, I'm just going to hand out, this is the official letter requesting the parade permit.
No, I think Pat said it all.
Yep, so,
Just hopefully bigger and better, and anybody in the community who wants to get involved, please join us.
okay.
Many heads together.
So the date that has been requested is May 23rd. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So we certainly unanimously support that. It's a great part of the town. It's such a you know, a solid event that it just brings everybody together. So that's great.
Thank you. And if I
very
could just
patriotic.
mention one more thing,
Sure,
too.
absolutely.
We, as long as I'm here, we are having a special meeting of the Bridgewater Raynham Regional School Committee on Thursday evening at 6:30 at the high school. If anybody is interested in coming, it's for a status update on our situation with the Mitchell Elementary School. And basically, just want to thank everybody for their support and their help during what's really been an enormous project of trying to deal with what's really a horrible situation, and to relocate all of clear the snow from our buildings and relocate 2 schools, basically. Move out the entire Bridgewater Middle School so that we could locate the Mitchell Elementary School within that school, and the preschool program, which includes Bridgewater and Raynham students moving to the Raynham Middle School. We've gotten such a great support, and actually even some donations from some community members to help with purchase of supplies and so forth. The damage was a little worse than we originally thought. More of the roof collapsed, and some of our classrooms were lost, so we weren't able to save all of the furniture and the supplies. So it's a real catastrophe, but obviously it's New England, and the snow comes, and what are you going to do? So, but the help we've had has been phenomenal from Bridgewater and Raynham, police, fire, building inspectors, everyone helping to make sure our schools are safe, both in Raynham, and in Bridgewater. So we just want to thank everyone for that.
And Pat, would you repeat the time and
Yes.
location for the meeting?
Yes, it's this Thursday, special meeting at 6:30 at the in the lecture hall at the Bridgewater Raynham Regional High School.
Regional High School, okay,
Right.
good.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, please.
Yeah, I'll start. Thanks, Kim.
Yep,
Thank you.
thank you.
Members of the board, the BR robotics team has their first competition this weekend up in Nashua, New Hampshire. This is their 20th year competing with the robots. Two weeks from Monday, they're doing a competition down at UMass Dartmouth, and they are the host robotics team. So they'll be putting out flyers looking for volunteers to help negotiate all of the teams coming in and all of the stuff that they do. But they have been doing this for 20 years, and it's quite an exciting time. And in all the 20 years and all the places that we've gone, not one disciplinary problem in any of the kids that were involved in the team.
So, Chief, would that be March 9th? You said 2 weeks from Monday?
I'm sorry, it's Friday, the 12th, I think it is.
Yeah, well, March 12th is a Thursday.
13th, then. It'd be the 13th
Friday
and
the
14th.
13th.
Yeah, it's 13th and 14th.
13th and 14th, okay.
And it's going to be UMass Dartmouth.
Right, okay, thank you. So,
Randy, do we have?
We don't have Mr. Ryan, the chief has his
Chief, you have your report, or?
Yes, not much to add. I was in just a couple weeks ago. In the last month, we responded to 998 calls, which is actually down from our normal busyness. The weather, I guess everybody's getting along while they're staying home together. We did book 42 people. And not much more to add than what I had mentioned a couple weeks ago. The weather, everything's been driven by the weather, no pun intended. Big snowbanks and some accidents. We had a doozy this morning. A couple trucks got stuck together up on 138 that completely blocked the road at the worst possible time of day, you know. So that's pretty much. We have had a couple of overdoses again. Brought back with the Narcan delivered by the fire department. And on every one of those, we go to the court and we go back out and we bring those people to court and send them off. Or we try to get the judge to order them to detox. Whether the judge does that or not is up to the judge, obviously, but we try to make that happen every time somebody overdoses.
Is it generally going down, though, Chief?
Yes, absolutely, it has gone down. There's been little ups and downs, but it seems like that really nasty drug that was being mixed they ran out of it maybe, I don't know, but it seems to have abated. That's all I have.
So that's good. That's somewhat good news, and
Yes.
I'd hate to think it was just the weather that kept it down, but you're probably right. You know, people couldn't get out of their driveway.
Couldn't cause any trouble.
It's hard, it's
Excellent.
difficult. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
And is there any other question on the board?
None.
Nothing? Okay, thanks, sir.
Thank you.
We do have actually one appointment tonight, and this is Joel C. Thomas. Actually, it's a reappointment for constable.
So moved.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, good. Thank you. Is there any signature required in that reappointment, Randy?
No.
Okay.
I have a separate.
Okay, very good. No public hearing. We've covered the new business. Any completion of old business?
I'm good.
Okay.
I have new business.
Yes, I'm sorry, go ahead. I didn't see you. I was looking this way. Please.
I've been trying to wait my turn, didn't realize if I was going to be called up here or whether I
Please,
just come
why-
up.
would
so-
you give your name in the microphone, make it clear?
Okay, my name is Elizabeth Lyden, Lyden.
Okay,
I live at 331 Orchard Street.
Yeah.
I have two things to come and complain about.
okay.
One is the speed that the cars are going on Orchard Street. I have two grandsons, they're 5 and 8, and those cars are just terrible. They come around going towards 44, where my house is, there's a slight curve. And they just go beyond, I can barely get out my driveway. And of course, the snow wagons don't help either. So I edge out and edge out and edge out. I hate to tell you how many times I've got yelled at, sworn at, horns beeping at me. But I got to get out somehow. They definitely are not going to stop me. I mean, I can park my car to get out, and turn my blinker on, and no one will let me out, of course. And the traffic speed on there is just terrible. I'm scared. I'm after the boys not to even play in my front yard, because I'm afraid those cars coming around that corner are going to come up over that sidewalk and hit one of my grandsons. And I mean, next door they have some little kids. And then beyond that, there's little kids. It isn't just my little kids.
Yep.
There's a lot of little kids
It's a
there.
general concern.
Yes.
Yep.
And so that was one of my complaints. I thought maybe you could do something
Yep.
about the
We'll
speed.
talk about that in a minute with your
Because
other.
I spoke to Mrs. Smith before, she probably does not remember me, about getting a wheelchair. My husband has a wheelchair, but I could not get him across the street. And just on the edge of my property is a sidewalk to cross the street. To get on the sidewalk on the opposite side, because now it switches, because my husband could not go down the sidewalk in a wheelchair, because he could not get across. He can't walk, he can't stand. And Mrs. Smith is the lady that I spoke to, and she did get a sign that was put in front of my house for the wheelchair. Hasn't helped much, but like I said, the speed is terrible, and I think you need to get the police out there. I know they've been out there a couple of times. I'll lower the speed limit.
What is the speed limit now?
35.
30 or 35?
30.
30?
Well, the sign up the street on Orchard Street says 35.
I think it's half and half. But just, Mr. Chairman,
Yep.
if I may,
Yep.
in terms of speed limits, you never see speed limits lowered because you can't, especially on a road like Orchard Street. It's based on a formula. It's based on the speed of cars, the amount of trips. So talking about lowering the speed limit isn't something that can happen.
Look, I can drive 35, I can drive 45, and they still are passing me on Orchard Street. And
Yeah.
they're not even supposed to be passing me.
Oh,
I know.
There's no passing on there at all. And because I'm going too slow, because there's lots of kids on Orchard Street. So don't give me, they can't do something about the speed. And they,
Ma'am, I said the speed limit. I didn't say something about the speed because you said change the speed limit.
yeah, well, why can't you even lower, because there's still, even if you lower it to 30,
We can't.
you'd be lucky if you'd get it to 35.
No, I think what he's
think
saying, excuse me, go ahead, please.
I think
Maria.
what she's trying to say is no matter what the sign says, they're not going to
Exactly.
pay any
They're
attention.
not gonna pay any
They're just going to
attention.
speed.
Exactly.
And they
Exactly.
are. They do it on Locust Street. We have the same problem on Locust Street. And in fact, my son told me just the other day, he was driving down Locust Street, and as bad as it is, somebody passed him. Now,
Oh,
you can
yeah.
hardly get
On
two
Orchard
cars.
Street, same thing.
Yeah, you can
They'll
hardly
pass
get
me.
two cars. I always thought, according to the old reading book that you took your driver's test, was that it was like 25 miles an hour. All speed should be reasonable in a residential area and 25 miles an hour. But they just speed.
Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah.
And I don't think the police can do much very now anyways because of the snowbankings. You know, they really
That's
can't
a very
park out there
serious
and try to
issue
get
right now.
somebody. You know, that can't be done. I don't know what you're gonna do, but.
But does any suggestions from the board?
The spring and fall, I know they do aggressive traffic enforcement. We also have those speed boxes which we put out there. And, I obviously sympathize. You live across from my aunt.
Yeah, I do.
So
Yeah.
we understand that, but we have 21 square miles of road and every street calls about.
Yeah, but you gotta consider Orchard Street is one of the main
Oh,
streets
no,
to
and we,
go in and out of.
and we do,
Yeah,
but
Raynham.
I'm trying to give you some background. We have approximately three cops per shift. So you just had the chief in here saying in 1 month, they had almost 1,000 calls.
Yeah,
So
I understand that. My husband was on the police committee in Raynham, so I understand how that works. So you don't have to explain everything like that to me. But something's gotta be done. We either gotta try to get him out there more or something. And I still don't understand why you can't lower the speed, but.
What I always thought, and I know there's good reason not to do it, and I'll let my colleagues, explain it. I always felt that in a perfect world, all you need to do is put a nice speed bump there. you
Oh,
either.
they'd probably go right over that anyway.
No,
somebody
not some of the speed
Well,
bumps that I've
stop if
seen, you lose a kidney if you hit some of them, that depends. But of course, I think there's issues with plowing and so forth and
Yeah,
so on.
yeah.
But I mean, that would be such an easy solution if we could do it. But on the other hand, to Mr. Pacheco's point, we will step up the surveillance and the traffic checks as the weather permits, because as you've correctly pointed out, the high snow,
Oh, yeah.
it doesn't allow them to park and catch it. I think also it does help a little bit to have that radar thing, because people really, it's blinking at you.
Where you gonna put it, up on top of the snowbank?
Well, we're
Well,
not
no,
talking
when the
right
weather,
now.
when the weather gets a
Yeah,
little easier is
I'm
what I
just
meant.
joking,
No,
so.
no, but I mean, we take it very seriously, and as Mrs. Smith has said, it's not only, Locust, I mean, I could tell you Elm Street, God, heaven forbid, if you try to cross that street without looking both ways 4 times, it's like, I mean,
You better run across.
it's scary. No, I know it is. And, as we get more traffic in the community and the connectors, that lead to other surrounding communities, a lot of what you see, I've been told, these are not necessarily Raynham drivers.
Yeah.
They're people,
cutting through.
they're
Yeah.
cutting through from other towns.
Yeah.
And that's
Center
what makes
Street
it
is another
frustrating.
main street
Yeah.
that has that very same problem.
So it's.
But when I go to take my grandsons across the street on the crosswalk, you can stand there and stand there and stand there, and they won't stop and let you go
No.
across. You have to wait till whenever you get a space long enough that you think you can rush, and I'm gonna rush the kids across the street.
I know,
And I
exactly.
keep saying, do not go near the street, because I'm so afraid they're gonna get hurt. But my other thing, I'm really being a pain tonight, sorry, but.
No, but we
That's
take,
all
we
right.
take it
Go right
under
ahead.
advisement. We understand your concern. It's on the record, and you have our assurance that we will communicate this by way of the town administrator to the police department
Okay.
to note
Well, I
that this is
appreciate
an
that.
area of
Thank you.
concern, and it's certainly one of many, but you've made your point very clearly, and there are children involved, and we will do whatever we can, given the constraints that Mr. Pacheco mentioned, which is, we don't have 15 or 20 officers out there patrolling all the streets, so it's challenging. We'll do the best we can. We sympathize with it, and we'll work toward doing whatever we can to solve the problem
Yeah,
with our
see,
resources.
I come from Bristol, New Hampshire, which is a very small town. We don't even have a stoplight in our town. We only have stop signs, and that's how small we are. But my husband was on the policeman commissioners, and they ran the police department. So I know how, that kind of stuff goes. And I know you've got restrictions that you can't do and so forth. But the other thing, talking about snow bankings, is I'm here to talk about my mailbox. I've lived here 5 years. I now have had my mailbox taken off in the pole 7 times in 5 years. I have fixed it and had it knock. Now, I have a husband, yes, but he's in a wheelchair. He cannot fix that for me. I do not, my son is in North Carolina and lives. He doesn't live here. My daughter lives upstairs with her 2 children. Her husband is not here. So it's hard for me to go out there and get that mailbox. Then I got to worry about running to Broadway. I say Broadway. And to be honest, I don't like the idea that I've got to pay 7 times to get my mailbox fixed or find someone to fix it for me. Because I can't go out there. I'm 72 years old. I just have a hard time to do stuff. And so I do as much as I can. But I do not like this rule that you made that no one's going to be responsible for my mailbox being taken right off. I have spoken to the highway department. It's right, my mailbox is kind of on the corner. And I think what they do is they cut right over, and here's my mailbox. There it goes. Yesterday, I found my mailbox, and I have a long driveway. My mailbox was halfway up the driveway, and my mail was into the street. And it was soaking wet. And this is my second time this year.
And that was, you know for a fact that that was the town snow?
Yes.
Wow.
I saw it happen, not this
Yeah.
time, but I have seen it happen.
So let's, please, Randy, send a note to the highway department and ask them to look into this. Do you have any other suggestions?
Because I have talked to the gentleman that runs the highway department. I did talk to him last year.
Yeah, well, listen,
Well, just to clarify,
Yeah.
that, ma'am, was not a rule that we made. That's a rule that town meeting made. Town meeting has voted multiple times not to do reimbursements, so that was not something this board made. So I just want to make sure
Okay.
for you and for the people at home, it's quite clear that that was not a rule we made.
Well, it wasn't a rule I voted for.
That very well might
That
have been the
must have been
case.
voted a long time before I
We
came
just did
here.
this about 3 years ago. It came up again. So I want to
Wow.
make sure everybody's aware that was not something that we did.
and that there is no, there's nothing in the bylaws that would.
The bylaws prohibit reimbursement.
Okay, and my point in passing this on to the highway superintendent is to advise him that, you know, insofar as is practical, let his people know that that is a tight corner, and, you know, do whatever they can within reason to.
You can talk to them, but it didn't do me any good.
Well, I know, but we're gonna do what we can. What else would you suggest? I mean,
There isn't anything. I
Well-
just wanted to bring somebody's attention that in 5 years, I've lost my 7
okay, so
times
duly
my
noted.
mailbox.
It's duly noted, and we will, you know, call it to the attention.
And you know, when you live on a fixed income, it makes a difference when you get to dish out $60 for someone to put it up.
Okay,
And then I gotta buy a new mailbox on top of it. And I had to put a new pole in before.
we understand that.
So
and
it adds up. I
appreciate
knew
it.
coming down here wouldn't do me any good, but I just wanted to come and sound off.
Okay,
Well, it does do you good because it makes you say it.
Well, it just, you know, it's aggravating,
Yeah.
is what it is, you know? I got it out there now, stuck in the snow, and then on the pole, and I got the pole, some stuff wrapped around it, it'll stay there. Post office told me that'll be okay, so.
well, let me give you an example. My mailbox is hanging on by a thread. Actually, I got a piece of pipe holding it up, and it's not because a highway department truck hit it. They didn't. It's the snowbank is so high
Oh, yeah.
that the snowbank has pushed it over, and it's, the driver is doing exactly what, as far as I'm concerned, on my street, not necessarily,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to generalize, but I can tell you, and my mailbox is brand new, and it was a heavy-duty one, and it's
Mm-hmm.
just hanging on. I mean, it's gonna, but it's the snowbank that's crushed it. You know, it's just, it is what it is. It's been an incredibly difficult winter.
Well, I know, but what was the other 4 years?
Well, that I don't
Excuse.
know about. I'm speaking about this winter, which is what, you know, your immediate
No.
concern, and we take note of it. What's your address again? Do we have your address?
331 Orchard.
331 Orchard?
Mm-hmm.
So, we will at least tell the highway superintendent that insofar as, now, in this case, there's probably not a darn thing they can do, given the snowbanks.
Well, I
But at
just
least
think
be a
that
s-
the drivers should be more aware of it. I
Well,
mean,
that's
I
what I'm
have put
saying.
a flag up on it taller than my mailbox. I put reflectors on it.
Well, you know what, sometimes it isn't the plow that hits it.
I know,
It's
under
the
can be
snow
the stand
that's being
forcing the
driven.
snow.
That's
Yeah,
exactly.
and the
right.
snow gets thrown up on it, and they're trying so hard to get the bank, you know, get the sides of the road cleared, that the snow just
exactly.
throws up on it, and it's heavy, and that's what
Can I just make
happens.
one suggestion? I mean, you don't have to
Well,
do
you
it,
can
but,
certainly try.
you know, I don't understand why, now that the storm is over, that the plow doesn't come and try to move some of those snowbankers back. So you have some more room if we have some more snow. Where are you gonna put it?
I think they are doing
have-
that.
they have been
and
out
They have
there.
been doing
Well,
that,
they haven't been over near me, so.
yeah.
That's why I was wondering.
But I will tell you
No,
this
They
much.
are, they've had the loaders out doing
Yeah.
the
Oh, yeah.
corners
I-
and,
I saw a couple of them today.
yeah.
I will tell you this much, you drive around the town of Raynham, look at the roads in general, and then travel to some of the surrounding towns, as I have. We do a pretty fine
Oh,
job,
yeah.
relative job.
I just
can
think
tell
that
you
the
that categorically.
snowbankers could try to be pushed back a little bit
And
more.
they have been out,
You know.
all 10 of our men, they've also been out starting to fill potholes as best they can.
Oh, yeah, I noticed that.
So, I mean,
Potholes, I noticed.
they're-
So they
they're-
are doing their
yeah.
job.
Well, thank you for
Thank
at
you
least
very
listening
much.
to me.
And we will
Very
do what
welcome.
we can to pass along your concerns.
And thank you again, Mrs. Smith, for
You're
this.
very welcome.
Next order of business is the town administrator's report. Randy?
Budget process for FY16 is in full swing. At this point, we've received budgets from just about everybody except for the highway department, who got a reprieve, and the regional schools. Sometimes toward the middle or the end of March, we'll hope to have a final balanced budget. But much depends on the proposed budget and assessment from the 2 regional school districts. The governor will be filing his budget soon, so these things will be play themselves out. Again, on the snow, as far as the snow goes, I want to thank Chief Janis for his help last week when the town hall roof sprung a leak, and to Highway Superintendent Ed Buckley and his crew for clearing the handicapped ramp and entryway. Tom Bullock is a maestro with the loader and the backhoe. Upcoming next Selectmen's meeting, we do have Ed Buckley, our highway superintendent, coming in. SMHG Board of Directors meeting tomorrow at 9 a.m. in North Attleboro, and the North School Committee meeting Wednesday, also tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. That's all I have.
Okay, any questions of Randy? Okay, thank you, Randy.
You're welcome.
Selectmen's report?
I'm good.
I do have one quick thing. I echoing Randy's comments. I was here with Randy when they were cleaning the area. It was a disaster. They did a great job. But I also want to thank Dan DeRosa and B&D Construction. They are presently building a new facility on the corner of 138 and Britain Street. It was a company that I desperately wanted to locate here in Raynham, and I knew they were looking to move. And I want to thank them because they cleared the roof off of the police station for free. So they turned down private paying jobs to do our roof for free. And I think, again, those are the businesses that we always want to continue to attract here in Raynham, and that we've had fortune enough to be able to attract. But this is somebody who hasn't even opened his doors yet, and he's already offering his services free of charge. I know people are still trying to get them out, and I called Dan and I said, we need your help, and he had at least 10 guys on the roof the next day. So I think that we should send probably a note of thanks to Dan and his business for their support already of the town.
Yep.
I second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And we might add that, once again, we welcome them to the community. And certainly their new headquarters on Highway 138 have added a very nice look to the area. When we talk about, you know, the upgrading the look on 138, that's a big step in the right direction.
Absolutely.
Great.
Yep, so thank you for that, Joe. Okay, correspondence. I do have a letter here from Mr. Louis Pacheco to the Honorable Board of Selectmen. I'm going to read it. He says, I'm writing this correspondence to the Board of Selectmen to request that Selectmen Joe Pacheco and Richard Chavo recuse themselves from any deliberations or discussions with Town Council on the open meeting violation complaint I submitted to the Town of Raynham and the Raynham Sewer Commission on February 12, 2015. Mr. Pacheco was related to me, and Mr. Chavo sits on the Sewer Commission and is a defendant in the complaint. I have full confidence that the board would do this on their own. However, in an effort to keep the process transparent, the determination beyond reproach, and the process above the suspicion of any hint of bias, I would respectfully request the above action. Thank you in advance for your time and consideration. Any comment from you, Joe?
None for me.
I think, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to reiterate the point that I've made on this numerous times. This board does not have authority over the Sewer Commission, and this board does not have the jurisdiction to investigate open meeting law complaints. Neither does the district attorney's office. That solely within the jurisdiction of the Attorney General's office. And the only comment I'll have on that is I have full confidence in the abilities of the AG and her staff to investigate any complaint from anywhere in Massachusetts fully, ethically, and I'm not sure what I would be recusing myself from because I don't have any jurisdiction to investigate anything.
Yeah.
And for the record, Mr. Chairman, we are not investigating anything because we don't have jurisdiction.
Sure, I appreciate that. Any comment, Marie?
No comment.
I would say the following, that with all due respect to Mr. Lou Pacheco, you know, we certainly appreciate his concern, but his concerns are really without merit for the reasons that were just stated, but I'll expand on those, or at least second those. He really apparently doesn't understand how Raynham town government works, because frankly, the selectmen have nothing whatsoever to do with any complaints to the sewer commission. And these are two duly elected positions. They do not overlap, and therefore, there is no point to the letter. And so that's our response to that letter. No press time, any emergency business? No, sir. No more citizen input. So I'd have a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn, pay the bills, no business to be conducted after.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you so much.